Welcome, Nerdy Knights of the well-rounded table to Bohemian Geek Studies, where we take extremely dorky dives into our favorite fandoms. I'm Padawan learner and defender of droids, Sarah O'Connor. Welcome, welcome.
Hello there. I'm Colleen McMillan, Rebel Scum collaborator and Jedi Master.
And I am Pirate Jedi, Anders Drew.
While we vary in terms of our ranks here on BGS, one thing will always remain constant. Much to learn we still have.
So true. So true. So this season on Bohemian Geek Studies, we are taking a detailed dorky dive into Star Wars Rebels. Today, we're diving into Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4, The Lost Commanders and Relics of the Old Republic, and I cried at the end of the last one.
We have done our best to scramble our signal, so we will be avoiding spoilers for future episodes of Rebels. But just in case, I'll throw in an adult content warning for the younglings.
So without further ado, let's hop aboard the Ghost and head to Lothal to explore our holocrons of knowledge. Colleen, let's open up that first holocron.
Yes, we're jumping right into the Journal of the Wills. This is the holocron where we discuss the plot and the synopsis summary for the episodes today. Episode 3 kicks off right after the destruction of Phoenix Home, which was the fleet's base ship, basically. And the rebels need to find a new base, one that's like in one spot. Like, let's go to a planet and try and find a base where we can all take off from. The question is, where? They don't know where to go. Ahsoka suggests that they find an old friend for help. She passes the Spectre team the head of an old tactical droid to help them find this mysterious friend, and the Spectre team heads off to the Silo system. Before they leave, Ahsoka tells Kanan to trust her friend no matter what. That always works out well.
And he's also like, as he's leaving, he's just kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like,
yeah,
sure.
Fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Everything is not fine. When the Ghost drops out of hyperspace at Silos, the ship systems are damaged from re-entering real space. Hera stays with Chopper, hilariously yelling at him about hyperdrive, while the rest of the team board the Phantom to go search for Ahsoka's friend.
The droid starts going to work, detecting something, repeating the code 7567. And in the distance, the crew spots a tricked out Clone Wars era AT-TE Walker tank and flies towards it. But Kanan is overcoming with foreboding and nerves. Aboard the Walker, hey, are 3 old guys who Kanan recognizes as clone troopers. So he ignites his lightsaber, and one of the clones, Wolf, responds by firing shots from his rifle. So things are tense fast. Rex breaks up the fight, and Ezra tells the clones that they were sent by Ahsoka, calming things down.
That was an intense first meeting.
Introduction.
And they're like, because Kanan is like, they are going to kill us. And the clones are like, shit, the Jedi are back for revenge.
Yeah, they're going to kill us.
Himself. They're going to kill us. So they go inside the tank, and Ezra tries to convince Rex to join the rebellion. But he says his fighting days are over. Kanan, who, I'll say it, rightfully mistrusts the clones due to his experience during the Great Jedi Purge, wants to get the intel, or not, actually. He doesn't really care, and just get out of there. He wants to leave.
Yeah.
Rex convinces the crew to stay for just a little longer. Gregor invites the crew of the Ghost to join them on a hunt for Jupas as payment for the intelligence. Meanwhile, on board Admiral Constantine's Star Destroyer, the Relentless, Agent Callus orders the dispatching of a probe droid to investigate a coded transmission originating from Silos.
Oops. So, back on Silos, Ezra doesn't understand Kanan's anger and mistrust toward the clones, and he tries to convince Kanan to trust them. Well played, Ezra. You're trying your best. Kanan painfully recounts the events of Order 66, which was really hard to watch. When his clone trooper comrades suddenly turned on his master, Depa Billaba, and himself, killing her. Rex overhears the conversation and emphasizes that not all clones executed the order, including himself. That's a little gray area from the Clone Wars, y'all, but we're just gonna let it go for now.
Yeah, Rex, pretty sure you aimed a gun and you might have been the only clone, but I guess we'll let it slide.
He did resist.
He did resist. The only one we've seen actively resist the order. So you've got that going for you, Rex. But he's glossing over the truth here a little bit, folks. Rex assures Kanan that he, Wolf, and Gregor did remove their control ships, however, which is true. They've all got that little scar on their head to prove that it's gone.
Moving on, Zeb leads the hunt for Ojopa as bait.
Unknowingly at first.
Yes, totally unknowingly.
You look like a great hunter. Let's put you out front.
After the giant sandworm swallows him whole, the crew saves Zeb and succeed in killing the Jopa. After the hunt, Kanan remands Rex in honor his side of the deal and supply information for the rebel base. But before they leave, Rex convinces the rebels to stay for dinner. Yummy! When Kanan later contacts Hera, she reassures him that not all the clones were bad and they saved billions of lives, including hers.
Yeah. Hera's always coming in clutch.
Yeah.
With the calming medicine for Kanan.
Gregor telling Zeb about like, oh yeah, this is the biggest one we got. You must have been such a great hunter to take him down. Was such a great way to like appeal to Zeb's ego. Smooth things over for the fact that he almost got eaten. Actually, I think in technical terms, he did get eaten.
And then shot at. Shot the cannon into the thing's mouth. Like, Zeb is in there. What are we doing? Oh, but it worked out fine. Everything's fine.
So Sabine, intending to download Rex's intel onto a data tape, enters the tank's communications room and discovers that a clone contacted the Empire and shared information about Ahsoka. Everyone is surprised, except for Kanan. He's kind of like, yeah, I called it.
Knew it.
Rex confronts Wolf, who admits to alerting the Empire and hiding Ahsoka's previous communications and attempts to contact Rex because he wanted to protect his comrades from Imperial persecution on the grounds of helping a Jedi. Sabine then discovers the probe droid, who manages to damage the Phantom's engines before being shot by Rex. To be continued.
Ooh. Yeah, that was tense there. We kind of knew that one of the clones had to do something to get the Imperials there, but it's still like, come on, Wolf. It all works out fine though, you guys. Next up is episode 4, and a storm is a brewing, real and figuratively. Hera and Chopper are still up in the Ghost and tempt fate by saying there are no Imperial ships in the area, like we're fine. Cue Star Destroyer immediately afterward. Hera shuts down all the systems on the Ghost, including Port Chop. He's like, no, and she's boops him and he's done.
His fault for not doing the repairs right.
That's true. And if he was active, they could sense him, like with the sensors. So that's fair that he needs to be shut down. So the Spectres are on their own for now, until Hera can be sure the Star Destroyer can no longer detect the Ghost.
Before parting ways, Rex gives Ezra a data chip containing a list of former Republic bases in the Outer Rim and Mandalore, as well as some old Separatist bases. Ezra loves how well the team works with the clone, and once again, he's like pushing this mission, asks Rex to join in the rebellion, but Rex once again politely declines. He does, however, offer to stay behind to delay the Empire so that the Spectres can try to escape and rejoin Hera and Chopper on the Ghost. Kallus contacts Wolf, demanding their coordinates, and the rebels, despite Wolf's failed attempts at pretending his cybernetic eye was malfunctioning.
Oh man, those clones.
So preventing the rebels from escaping a sandstorm has broken out, and not all. Kallus, in a nice little bit of arrogance, decides against orbital bombardment and deploys 3 AT-AT walkers for a ground assault. The rebels flee into the storm, with Kanan and Ezra using the Force to guide them. After some great shooting and maneuvering, and trust in General Kanan, an AT-AT is shot in the neck and destroyed, allowing the clones ATTE to flee from the remaining 2.
I love that part. Whenever they call him General, it's just fantastic.
So cute. I love the deference that the clones give to Kanan, despite Kanan's total mistrust in them. It's great.
It's immediate too. They're like immediately. They're like, oh, a Jedi. This is great. Yep. We don't have to do it anymore. So back in space, Admiral Constantine, huge dick, you guys. Freaking Constantine. What a tool bag. He receives a transmission from Lord Vader, ordering him to rendezvous with his shuttle in space. So he's out of there, guys. He's like, Callus can handle it. We're leaving. Hera sees the ship zip away while she and Chopper work on the repairs. After the sandstorm clears, the Phantom departs and the clones remain to fight the 2 remaining walkers. Things get really worrisome for the clones. Like this, they would have died here. Like they all would have died.
Mm-hmm.
Until Ezra convinces Kanan and the others to turn back and save them.
While Sabine pilots the shuttle, Kanan, Ezra, and Zeb commandeer one of the AT-ATs and turn its weapons on Callus's AT-AT walker, and Rex destroys it with a well-placed shot. Callus and his men flee on a speeder, and Rex ultimately agrees, finally, thank you, Ezra, to join the rebels and return with the Spectre team. Back in space, Admiral Constantine greets the shuttle, but it doesn't contain Vader. Instead, it contains another Inquisitor who vows to succeed where Callus and Constantine had failed. Finally and wonderfully, the Spectre team returns home and Ahsoka is reunited with Rex.
Cue Colleen's tears.
Yep.
So wonderful.
You've grown older.
Oh,
so adorable.
So cute. I love it.
Well, let's move on to that second holocron, The Will of the Force, where we explored the theme or themes of today's episodes. And I think, you know, we can probably keep this a little bit shorter for episode 3 at least. It's trust and mistrust, right? I mean, it's just saturated in this episode, dealing with Kanan's mistrust, Ezra's trust, the clones, frankly, being split on it, depending on which clone you're talking about. Anything to add here, guys?
I think it's just really interesting to see how far Ezra has come so quickly in terms of trusting people.
Yeah.
When we first met him, he's very much he's walled off, not willing to have faith in anybody or anything other than potentially himself. And even then it was kind of shaky.
Yep.
So to see him come this far, and I think that also gets at it's definitely related to his kind of abandonment issues, right? Generally, when kids have been abandoned, or, you know, in this case, their parents didn't like willingly leave them, but they they end up on their own anyway. A lot of times they can go one of 2 ways. They like form these like instant tight bonds with people based on any sort of affection, or they completely wall themselves off. So we're kind of seeing him move. We've seen him kind of move between those 2 extremes. And to see him still try to inspire Kanan, though, who is rightfully, based on his history, not necessarily just going to blindly trust these clones.
Right. Yep. And the clones, too, seeing a Jedi are like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
This is not going to go well for us, you guys. Like, we're really good fighters, but he's got a lightsaber and he's a Jedi. So definitely a lot of communication is really important in this episode, too, with establishing trust and trying to break down those kind of barriers, which is really great to see.
Well, moving on to episode 4, we chose United by Inspiration, where Ezra convinces Kanan to turn back and help the clones defeat the walkers, and he also convinces Rex to return to fight against the Empire. Both Kanan and Rex were inspired by Ezra's openness and conviction, like we were just saying with respect to episode 3. So, I mean, you can really see it build up over these past 2 episodes, Ezra's maturity.
And it's great to see that he can do this. Like, he's not mind tricking anybody.
Right.
He just is that inspiring. It doesn't take very long for either of them to be like, yeah, you're right, Ezra. Doesn't take much
there's a certain purity in what he's doing, and he's basically saying what he said in that transmission that basically has started to coalesce the Rebel Alliance around itself, right? That
we're stronger together.
We are stronger together, and we need to do what's right. We have the ability to stand up, and we should.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, slightly off topic here, but you know, it is a little strange how many times people are willing to sacrifice themselves in these to allow others to escape, to try and to kind of fall on that grenade so that everyone else can get away. And then the people who get away like won't let them actually do it. They're like, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna come
Right.
back. We're gonna come right back into the zone that you just allowed us to escape from to pluck you out.
Yes. That is a good chestnut of a ploy.
It is just
For
a
sure.
little point. I mean, Hera actually called Ezra out on it after Kanan.
Ezra's the comeback kid. He always comes back.
Yep.
Ezra doesn't believe in no-win scenarios.
Exactly. And it worked out well here.
Well, looking at a continuation of kind of a series theme, we look at PTSD and the cost of war. This idea of when have you done enough? Rex coming out of retiring. When has he earned that rest? And is that rest even possible in this world? I would say in many ways, no.
It happens a lot in Mandalorian too. These people are still trying to recover from that war. So it's realistic here that they would be really wanting not to engage in any sort of conflict because they have this deep history with it, but then being unable to ignore the kind of call to action. Like it's in their blood for the clones. They really,
literally.
Yeah, literally, this is what they were raised to do. So them being that adamant about not going and joining the fight, but then when there was a fight, they were like, this is amazing, you guys. We are so ready to fight these Imperials. Like they charged an AT-AT with their tank walker. Like, we're definitely gonna die, guys, but let's go out with a freaking blaze of glory. And for Kanan, it's just like he was in retirement too for a really long time before Hera kind of gently nudged him into being a rebel. And I like that Star Wars actually looks at this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, this would be a problem. People aren't just going to jump back into the fray immediately. Like they have to think about it and be convinced and told that this is the right thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah. And I like with the three clones here, we see that PTSD kind of manifesting itself in different ways, right? We have Gregor, who definitely has had some kind of a bit of a psychotic break, or suffered some kind of brain damage, and he's a little bit uncontrollable, and you feel for him because he didn't ask for this. He was quite literally bred to do this and treated like a machine, like property. And then you've got Wolf
letting the droids escape so that he could fall on the grenade in his Clone Wars arc.
Oh, Gregor. And then you've got Wolf, who's he's obviously this kind of grouch. He's very protective of these people who are all that he had, at least he thinks all that he has left. And Rex does appear to be the most well-adjusted.
Yeah, for
so far,
sure.
but he's also, like we were just saying, he's ready to just put it all down and sit back and relax.
Yeah. It's like, I'm old though, guys. Like, not really, but I'm old. It's time.
I mean, these clones don't have a lot of time, ultimately, because they do age faster. So, and then you've got Kanan, obviously. Again, instant mistrust. Kanan himself didn't want to join back with this. We've seen him coming to terms with this just in the last few episodes since they joined the fleet. He's kind of been like, well, let's go back on our own. Let's go do our own thing, as opposed to joining up in an actual war yet again. Right.
It's like, this rebellion is sketchy, guys. We need to get out of here.
Again, to be fair, that's an accurate statement.
Yes, it's very accurate at this point. That's why they have Bail Organa and Mon Mothma as like the point people, because they look great, they sound great, and they can sell a speech like nobody else.
All right, well, I mean, getting into the clones themselves, let's move right into that third holocron, the Galaxy's Populace, where we focus on the characters and relationships highlighted in today's episode. So a little bit of backstory, I think, on some of these clone troopers. I'll start us off with Wolf, who was known as part of the Wolf Pack with Jedi Master Plo Koon during the Clone Wars. Wolf served directly under Plo Koon. He was the leader of that venerated squad, the Wolf Pack, which was a part of the 104th Battalion. He even, guys, he lets out a howl when the clones attack. Cal Callus and the company.
Yes, that was amazing.
Unlike Gregor, he's featured in several arcs throughout the Clone Wars series.
Mm-hmm. Where he is grumpy. He is a grouch to start off with. So this is just like an acceleration of that grumpiness. And next we have poor Gregor. He was featured in only one Clone Wars series arc, but he was a significant part of season 5. He was a clone trooper captain in Foxtrot Group, an elite clone commando squad. He was marooned on the planet Abafar after the Battle of Sarish. And then he experienced a little bit of light amnesia, just chilling on the planet, working in a diner for quite some time, until R2-D2 and a group of droids reawakened his memories. We basically thought he was dead in that arc because he was in an explosion, a real big explosion, and did not die. And then he turned up in Rebels, and he was really sweet and funny, but also he's acting real weird, you guys. He's gone around the twist, as they say. But he's adorable.
They say. And next up, we've got Rex, a great military commander with a vast knowledge of the Outer Rim. The clone with the most free will by far. Rex was Anakin's right-hand man and like a brother to Ahsoka. Voice actors Ashley Eckstein and Dee Bradley Baker were able to record together as Ahsoka and Rex. I mean, do you want to cry or what? Just watch the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars and see Ahsoka and Rex and see how they handled Order 66. Truly, literally, Flo sometimes tarnishes the Clone Wars because that's not her cup of tea. But let me spill some tea and say literally the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars are absolutely fantastic. So if you watch anything of Clone Wars, take a glance at those little gems.
Yeah. And it's fair to say that the first few seasons of Clone Wars are rough.
Yeah.
They are rough, but it gets so good at the end. And those last episodes, like there's a reason I'm weeping openly watching Rebels for most of the time. Next, we got Kanan and the clones. This is really tough to watch. He has every right to be suspicious of them. Realizing who they were had to have sent like this shockwave throughout his brain, through his nervous system. Like he could have shut down seeing these people. But instead, he pulled his lightsaber out immediately and like moved in front of the other Spectres to try and protect them, it was so good to see. He loves his fam so much, guys. And then I also noticed there's that little scene where he's cleaning or checking his lightsaber, making sure it's functional in case he needs to use it. Like he's falling back on these kind of military protocols, like make sure your weapon is okay. Where are your surroundings? Who are these people? Like he's very aware of what's going on, which is really sad to see. Like, please, I hope you can trust each other at some time.
Well, why don't we move on to that 4th holocron, Binding the Galaxy Together, where we talk about homages and Easter eggs. Colleen, I know you just spoke, but why don't you kick us off?
Yes, we've got a lot of Easter eggs in these, which is really fun.
These entire 2 episodes just count as one giant Easter egg, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you've got clone troopers. That's the biggest Easter egg, is seeing those 3 come out of the tank and just be like, what's up, guys? We're not old. Okay, we are old, but we're still awesome. They are the 3 ex-Republic Army soldiers. They find them by following Rex's clone number, which is CT7567. Each clone had this kind of birth registration number when they were quote unquote born. It's their ID, basically. It's actually tattooed on them with, you can't see it though, it's like invisible ink, but if you scanned their arm, you could find their information. And then we've also got Gregor's number, which is CC5576-39, and Wolf's is CC3636. And CC means clone commander and CT means clone trooper.
Why does Gregor have that extra 39?
That I'm not sure. It's probably just extra batch number.
Okay.
Because I think he's younger than, because I think that Rex is the oldest, quote unquote oldest out of the 3 of them. And then Wolf, and then Gregor. And then the I love that tank, you guys. The ATTE, the clone trooper tank. The Jupa hunt, though, this part was really fun. It's a lot like the shark hunt in Steven Spielberg's movie Jaws. And there's a suspicious looking shark jawbone on the front of the tank. outside. It's like, oh, interesting. Like they're chumming the waters with Zeb in order to get the biggest freaking Jupa out there. Oh, I love it so much. This one, though, if you go inside the tank, you can catch a glimpse of the Padme pinup poster, which was supposed to be used in the Clone Wars TV show. Anakin would have hated this, you guys.
Well, he would have hated anyone else having it. He wanted all the copies for himself.
This is very true.
Yeah.
There was also a handmaiden version of this pinup poster, which was one of Padme's handmaidens in their robe, but like leg showing. Like, oh my God, ankle.
Scandalous.
I know. Amazing.
I love that tank too. And I found myself thinking on this rewatch when I saw that tank again, I was like, all right, it's got kind of like a steampunk vibe, but also this like patchwork look on it that actually reminded me of like the Lost Boys village in Hook.
That's great.
Yes,
I
and they
want
are
the clothes.
Lost Boys.
I want the clothes to be going like Rufio.
Bangarang. Bangarang, Kanan.
Very treehouse looking.
Yes, it was really cool. Like Swiss Family Robinson style. They're
Yeah.
making it work, basically. This, though, I was so confused by this when I first watched Rebels, you guys. Why the F does Gregor have a flying cheeseburger on his tank top?
Because why not?
Like, are there cheeseburgers in Star Wars? I guess there are. It's actually
What sort of galaxy would not have cheeseburgers?
I don't know. I mean, they have Nerf burgers, I guess. They have Nerf burgers. I don't know if they have cheese, but they do have Nerf burgers.
They do. The
This
cheese is just blue and green.
Right, yeah, exactly.
That's the milk.
Fine. It looks delicious. I can see Luke totally going for a freaking Nerf burger with some blue cheese on it.
So gross.
Blah. So this is actually the logo of the diner where Gregor worked in the Clone Wars during his amnesia arc. And the diner was called Power Sliders.
Great name.
Oh my gosh, it's just so funny. I love it. The last one I have is that Dave Filoni loves Japanese kaiju movies. The battle between the AT-AT and the AT-TE was inspired by Dave wanting to see two machines duke it out like giant monsters. He said he could have done a 20-minute show just of that.
Oh my
I would have watched it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch it.
All right. So one of the little Easter eggs I noticed. Sorry about that weapons malfunction. When Rex is trying to like smooth things over after they just shot at the Spectres. It's a nice little joke reference to Han on the Death Star saying that slight weapons malfunction, but everything's fine. We're fine here now. How are you guys?
How are you?
And I mean, we start off every show here where we go through our ranks, and there's a little confusion about Kanan's ranks because Gregor keeps calling him General, which Kanan does not like.
He was never a general.
Yeah, he was never a general, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Commander." I guess then, right? This is a reference.
So sweet.
It was so sweet. This is a reference to the typical ranks that Jedi Knights and their Padawans would carry, kind of in the Republic military. So Anakin was a general, Ahsoka was a commander as his Padawan. I'm guessing Kanan was called commander at some point, but he was pretty new to being a Padawan even at that.
Called him
at that
Kid
point.
a lot in the comic.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever even got that far as commander. And then this one, this was like the first time I really noticed this one. Ezra lining up to take that shot in the middle of the storm with Kanan kind of whispering in his ear, coaching him through how to use the Force to do this. Very much like Luke and the Death Star in A New Hope. That trust your instincts. He even takes off the helmet kind of to make sure that he's not using any of the mechanical targeting. He's just going on instinct. And my last one is, guys, who doesn't just love a probe droid showing up? Everybody loves a probe droid. It's always good. It's always interesting. We're always in for a little bit of a treat or some kind of an interesting encounter when one of these little Empire Strikes Back guys comes in. I was thinking that this one seems like it's a little bit more savvy. It's got a little bit more intelligence than the ones we've seen in the past. It was like hiding and trying to move around a little bit more. Actually gathering some intelligence instead of just like going out in the middle of everything and just being like, oh, cool.
It's an actual spy droid, unlike.
Yes.
I love it.
All right, and I've got two left. So the AT-AT walkers in Rebels are actually much bigger than the ones from Empire Strikes Back. These are a developmental model. Will Callus get yelled at for getting these precious prototypes destroyed? Methinks so.
Oh, yeah.
even
If he had just
don't
shot them
see
from
it.
orbit, then they could have gone and picked up that Inquisitor and no problem.
Yeah, nope, he didn't want to do that.
And speaking of Inquisitor, the fifth brother, our new Inquisitor, was based off of unused concept art from The Force Awakens. His race isn't listed on Wikipedia, so he's quite mysterious.
Yep, I got nothing, guys. Nothing. I looked
And that
him up,
wraps
like,
up-
who is he?
And that wraps up our homages and Easter eggs. So, Colleen, you want to take us to that fifth holocron?
Heck yes. Okay, everyone, we're now moving into our fifth holocron, the Newbie from Naboo. This is Flo's first time watching Rebels, so we've tasked her with watching the episodes and giving us her questions and some spicy hot takes for today. Let's find out what our ambassador from Naboo thought about seeing these old friends not forgotten.
Well, they're not my old friends. I didn't watch Clone Wars.
I was concerned about that part. I was like, Flo's probably
Yeah.
not going to get hit by this very hard.
I was not
Yeah.
hit
No,
in the feels at all.
But she does
Um,
talk to us a lot, so we were hoping maybe we rubbed off.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I was very happy for anybody who was happy in these episodes. I definitely want to let people enjoy things, and they weren't bad episodes. I just like didn't enjoy them to the amount that I think the showrunners wanted me to enjoy them, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just don't have that kind of relationship with the clones. So I think I could see how other people would be very, very excited. It wasn't me. That's
I'm
okay.
excited,
Like,
Flo. Look at my friggin' pop for today.
aw, look at you. You got Grandpa Rex.
He's so cute. He's bald.
For anybody who cannot see it, it is Grandpa Rex in a Funko Pop.
So do my babies.
So, like, to be honest, all right, anybody who's not watching on YouTube, sorry, but like, this is the extent of my notes for 2 episodes. I had
Ooh.
like nothing
Ooh,
to
not
say.
too much. Yeah.
No, it was weak. It was weak because I know you guys saw like a lot of Easter eggs probably, but I was just like, I don't know. They're like on some sort of like space caravan with wind chimes, and they're just like chilling and hunting.
caravan of
weird-
A lot of sand. Lot of
so
sand.
much sand.
So much sand.
Awesome.
So much sand. And as you know, I don't like sand. So it was just not my jam. Also, like the hunting the thing was like such a side quest. I could not. I
Of course.
could not.
It was another crate dragon. That was your
It
problem.
was.
with it.
Oh my God, Sarah.
Yep,
it
it's
was
a crate
another
dragon.
crate dragon. And
Yeah.
we all know how I feel about the crate dragon plot line in the Mando. So no,
Dude,
thank
does,
you.
Doesn't make you right, but yeah, sure.
I mean, it makes me right for me.
It's very true. I was wondering that too, Flo. I was like, is Flo gonna think this is like the crate dragon?
Yes, it was like it meant nothing, right? They didn't even keep it. They didn't even eat it. They just
couldn't-
dropped
yeah,
it.
They had to drop
It was
it.
like this was useless.
That was sad.
Yeah.
That was sad when they had to drop it. I was like,
Very
now it's going to
unfortunate.
waste.
Poor Gregor.
I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna eat it, right? Like there's
Yes.
probably like Jawas or
Something.
something.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Some I'm sure somebody's gonna eat that thing. But also like it's probably gonna turn into jerky because it's so freaking dry out there. So whatever.
Yep.
Anyways.
Drupa jerky. That sounds kind
Yeah,
of
exactly. All right, so here's my notes. Episode 3, basically, like right away, even with my limited knowledge, I knew it would be Rex just from like listening to you guys talk. Like I was pretty sure he was the one who was paired up with Ahsoka. So I was like, all right, probably him. Honestly, it was like really messed up for that wolf guy who's like kind of a dick to contact Callus. That was
Oh yeah.
really effed up. Like
Yeah.
I don't really know why he did that without telling Rex first.
They were
It was
also
like-
really forgiving of him very quickly.
Yeah, what
Really
was that?
forgiving. Really
There's
fast.
gotta be a backstory to why
I guess.
we don't have it yet, but it's gotta be
Well,
something.
Give us the fan fiction right now.
Working on something else right now, Flo.
I know, team. Check out Colleen's fan fiction when it drops. We will link it. It's gonna be great. So that wasn't great. And then Kanan, like clearly being so affected by like his close
Mhm.
proximity to the clones as he remembered Order 66 was really tough to watch. So
Mhm.
that was nice. I did appreciate getting that sort of like more depth into Kanan's character. That was great. I like wasn't 100% like understanding why Ezra was like, of course we should trust Ahsoka, and of course we should trust, like, he doesn't know any better. Like Kanan's like, hell no. and he's your master. So I don't know. I thought Ezra was a little too trusting. Like there wasn't that much evidence for him being that trusting.
See, and I liked how trusting and open Ezra was. I thought it was a really interesting switch from Master and Padawan in that Ezra is teaching Kanan how to kind of let go and trust again.
I mean, that's fair, but also like Kanan was kind of right. Like Wolf sold him out. So
yeah, no,
Real fast,
100%, 100%.
like definitely they were right about Rex, but like I guess they probably weren't expecting 2 other people. Like I think they were just expecting to find the person that Ahsoka was sending them to find, who Ezra knew he should trust. But then the other 2 were kind of like loose cannons. Also, like that other guy, Gregor, he was like also weird. I don't know. They were all so weird. Clones are so weird to me.
The concussion protocol for Gregor was not handled well.
Yeah.
It was not at all.
I like, Sarah, what you just said though about the dynamic for Ezra to convince Kanan to trust again, and for Kanan to also be right to an extent. It wasn't until you just said it just reminded me of the dynamic they set up in Raya and the Last Dragon. Have you guys seen that one yet?
Yes.
No, I haven't yet.
It's
all right, well, Sarah, there's a very similar dynamic. I won't spoil it for you, but
yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
All right, so then episode 4 for me was better than episode 3. Again, episode 3 was like so side questy, I couldn't even. To be fair, the first time I watched episode 4, I fell asleep, so I had to rewatch. So
busted.
Sorry, everybody.
But I wasn't on my phone. For a while.
I just fell asleep. And also, I was really tired, so maybe it's not 100% Rebel's fault. Okay, episode 4, Rex was very cute when Ezra was like on the big gun, and he was like telling him all the controls. It was like, you know, like in movies when Grandpa like tries to teach you how to like drive the tractor on the farm. That it was like that, and that was cute, and I liked that. Okay, so then I was confused, and then I was confused about timeline. Have they not seen AT-ATs before? No. Okay, so they're new. So they've only seen like the chicken walkers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is why they were like, they're on 4 legs, blah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the clones especially have been like isolated. I don't know if the clones have even seen the newer chicken walkers.
Yeah, the clones might not have. That's true.
Okay, and how did they know that the neck was sensitive?
They're good at just kind of visually tactfully doing like
their tactical flow.
Yeah. They're trained also to look for that, and Sabine would be good at it too. Just like finding weak points is one of the things they're supposed to be able to do.
And as a former Imperial cadet, she probably could give insight on that.
All right.
Yeah, well, Flo, don't find a weak spot. Don't find a weak spot in this. It's only in the neck.
It's plot armor all over those AT-ATs.
Got it. So yeah, I was confused about that because I was like, I mean, I obviously know what they are. Why don't you know what they are? And then I like kind of got lost as to like where we see them for the first time. And like, anyways, so that's that. Ezra getting to wear Rex's helmet was really cool. I was not expecting that. Although he only wore it for like a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
Like I kind of, and we didn't even get like a really close shot of him. It was like we saw him from far away and then we saw him taking it off. And it was like, I would have liked a cooler shot of that for some reason. Like I'm not even attached to it, but it felt weird.
They kind of do that a lot where Ezra puts on a helmet and then literally the next scene they're like, oh, big reveal. Ezra has emotions.
I mean, yeah, but it was like so weird because I don't understand why. First of all, I don't really understand why he wanted it. Besides, like, I know he collects them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to take it home. I think it was supposed to protect from the sand, which obviously once you take off your helmet, that doesn't happen.
No longer protected.
I just feel like Ezra not the smartest cookie. Poor little guy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Force should be able to go through the helmet. I don't really understand why he had to remove it. So that was kind of silly. But as soon as like the Force did hit him or whatever, that Force theme, like it gets me every time. When it swells, my heart just goes like bum, 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 bum. It's so good. It's just so, so good. Highlight quote for me in this episode was when Rex said, "This is what we were born to do." It was like, yeah, literally. Like, yeah, you were just born to do this. This is what happens on Camino. So cool. So that was kind of funny. I liked that. The shot of Zeb and Kanan and Ezra jumping on the at was amazing. It was like
Mhm.
slow-mo superhero shit where they were just like, anyways, loved it. Okay, and then real talk. Callus has been like getting blown up right and left. He got blown up like last season in like a variety of explosions. He's getting blown up in this at. How is he alive?
Resilient.
Yes.
Okay, but that doesn't like counteract biology of just like having your body blown up.
I don't know. Ask
Gotta
Vader
keep
about
it
that.
running.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But I just feel like okay, so now I'm like thinking that other Inquisitor guy is dead, by the way, like for real. But whatever. First I did well, they brought in a new guy. They brought in a replacement. So I'm like, all right, I guess that guy's not coming back. But it's like, how does that guy die in a fire? And then Callus is getting shot at and like blown up, and he's just like, nah, I'm chilling. Also, like
He doesn't even have any robotic limbs. I mean,
Not
does this
even.
even work for the Empire? I mean,
like
come
his
on.
facial hair isn't even singed.
Nope.
Just like
Super
mad
powered
chilling.
facial hair.
I just honestly, it's irresponsible. I don't understand why this is happening. New Inquisitor, very creepy. I guess like that's how they hire them. They're just like, you're creepy. You can be an Inquisitor. And then my next question, my last question. Rex is like super duper old in this, but he's
Mhm.
got the sped up clone aging, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, I was just checking because I was like,
Yeah.
how did this guy get so old? Like, how old was this guy during the Clone Wars? Because he didn't look that old. He looked kind of hot. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. He looks like he's in his 20s in the Clone
Right.
Wars.
and now he looks like he's like 75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They age
It's really
About-
sad.
twice as fast, maybe a little faster than that as an
Mhm.
average person, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks.
So, anyways,
boys.
that was my takes on these episodes. I'm looking forward to not being with the clones, hopefully next week. And well, although I guess now Rex is there with Ahsoka, so I guess we'll see him more. And again, I'm fine with him. I just like don't care that much. So
I can see
However-
that.
yeah.
I mean, if you don't have the history of someone in Clone Wars, it's introducing a new character, so you don't have that relationship yet.
Right.
100%. And like my issue with Clone Wars 2 is not that I like don't like the clones, that I can't tell the clones apart.
Yeah.
So I have like
Yeah.
a huge issue with that. So I was like, I don't like I'm not gonna like read the stupid markings on your helmet, my dude. I don't have that kind of patience.
It gets
Well, that's
easier.
why Ezra has to take it off all the time.
Okay, fair, I guess. Except for the people under the helmets all look the same in Clone Wars.
Not
They don't
once you
help me
get
at all.
going, they all start looking different, which is helpful. Once they start like doing different hair and having tattoos and stuff, it's way easier to tell.
All
who
right,
they
if you
are.
say so. I mean, I don't
Well, why don't we move on to our sixth holocron conjecture at the cantina, where we ask our questions about the episode and explore some wider Star Wars lore together. Colleen, you want to kick us off?
Heck yes. As always, we're going to go into what Dave Filoni and crew had to say about these episodes. Everyone was really excited except Flo to get the clones back.
Sorry.
Love you so much, Flo. It's fine. Well, it's hard when you don't have 7 seasons of a show
Sure.
behind these characters. And even like Wolf and Gregor weren't cornerstone characters for Clone Wars as much as Rex was. So even that, you're like, oh, okay, these guys are here too. Their voice actor, though, D. Bradley Baker, I love him. He's a delight. He was challenged by Dave Filoni to make the 3 clones a little different so that people could tell them apart better, especially just by their voices. Wolf at this point is grumpier, and Gregor has obviously gone off his rocker due to a little bit of shell shock from the Clone
Mhm.
Wars. Dave Filoni also told Rebels Recon host Andy Gutierrez, I was so happy to hear this, that Wolf was not the clone who took out Plo Koon in
Okay,
Revenge
good.
of the Sith. Thank you so much, Dave Filoni. I needed that a lot. Because, oh, our poor dude, if he had taken out his general and mentor, that would have been awful. But he's still certainly really paranoid around the Jedi. Callus noting that he's called the Empire a few times with some delusional stories. Like, we don't
That's
need to listen to
wild.
this guy. He's called in all the time. He cries wolf. Wolf cries wolf.
Oh, that's good. That's
That's a
great.
good one. I
That
like
I
is
like
good.
that. Yeah, I like that.
Good job, brain. We're working this morning.
So I had a question about this, and I've wondered this ever since I saw these episodes the first time. How exactly did these three clones come together? Because we talked earlier that they're all kind of part of different regiments. They're not, they wouldn't necessarily have naturally been together right at the end of the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
And, they say they've all removed their chips. We're not spoiling future Rebels episodes, but spoiler alert for the end of Clone Wars, we do see Rex get his chip removed. Wolf and Gregor are not there.
Yeah, no, they are not there.
Right.
So, and given that we've seen, I don't know if it's been officially confirmed or if we're all just assuming we've seen what appears to be Rex in the Bad Batch trailer, could this story of these three clones get told in that show?
That would be very cool to get that little backstory. I know Flo won't be that interested in it, but it would be interesting to see how the three of them came together for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how
Be
all of
really
their
cool.
chips kind of came out.
Mhm. Yeah, Rex, please
think
don't have
Rex
Rex
was
digging in
just
their
like-
brains.
Yeah. I think Rex was probably just like, hey guys, I've got this like space VW like bus. Y'all, like, I need some roommates, and just like put out an ad in like space Craigslist. It was just like, come join me.
Room for rent.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Moving room for rent.
Bring your
Mhm.
own wind chimes.
Oh, yes. So sweet.
Give me that
Then-
spinoff.
Yeah. And then anyone else think, so they talk about how Wolf has called in a few false alarms around the Jedi, and they talk about how the clones were all decommissioned
Mhm.
when the Empire decided to move on and use stormtroopers. Given that it is the Empire, anyone else think that it would have been more in character for them to just terminate the clones? To be like, all right, we're
This
done
was-
with you?
Yeah, this was my question as well. I kind of assumed that decommission largely meant wiped out, except for a few of them. But I guess Rex, Wolf, and Gregor proved that to be not entirely the case. But that was my assumption watching it, because it is the Empire.
Yeah. It does seem strange that they'd be like, all right, guys, run off now. Like,
Yeah.
no retirement package for you, but you're fine. Yeah, it just seems like they would have rounded them up and just like blasted them.
A lot of them worked for the Empire after they were decommissioned,
Mhm.
even as trainers for the stormtroopers.
Mm.
So they had jobs within the Empire, but they were no longer soldiers,
Got it.
which was crap for them because
Interesting.
all they wanted to do was be soldiers.
Well, it's what they were born to do.
Yeah.
So is
then
it
yeah.
is it when they stop using the clones to train the stormtroopers that their aim turned to shit, or is it
Probably.
that the clones were subtly sabotaging by teaching them bad?
Hmm.
I think the clones that were loyal to the Empire were loyal
Yeah.
to the Empire, which I think we'll see in the Bad Batch. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be real bad, you guys.
I don't know. And then my one other thought with these episodes was just how cool is it to see the Clone Walker take on the AT-ATs, like the two generations of tech kind of going head to head, especially when the newer generation is so much bigger and so much more intimidating.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like a squirrel, like kind of trying to bat at a bobcat or something. Like, what's happening?
But he wins.
But he wins. With some Jedi assistance. I thought it was really fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always cool to see machines beating the crap out of each other.
It was all
No.
right.
I love you, Flo.
Speaking of machines, I don't know if we'll get an answer to this further than what we've already seen in the show, but I was surprised on that droid finding Rex on a moving walker. Like, do we know the droid mechanics? Why did it find 7567 and not recognize the other clones? I just don't understand.
I would guess Ahsoka had started to program it to find him, maybe. That's my only guess. Like she'd fiddled with it a little bit and was like, well, let's try and find Rex by his number or something. Yeah.
I just don't
I'm not
understand.
sure.
Okay.
Unless she found like a specific tactical droid that knew them really well.
Right.
Could
I
also
mean,
be
it's
wild.
a moving walker. Like, it's not an easy thing to find, but okay. Well, moving on.
Well, I would say the fact that it is a tactical droid, it basically just runs algorithms. So with a couple parameters of Rex's last known location and whatever else, you throw in a couple of personality traits that you know about him and things, it's basically I would say it calculates that he's probably on that planet, and then you can probably use the ship systems to scan for either some kind of Clone War era tech or for human life signs. Effectively, there probably aren't that many on that planet.
That's true. All right, I like that. Will Rex's information lead them to like the base in A New Hope? Or is that like too much of a spoiler that we can't talk about that? Like, I'm just wondering, speculation wise, is it Rex's intel that helps them?
I don't remember. It's a Jedi temple that's on Yavin 4. I don't remember how they find it per se. It might come from Rex's info because he's got everything.
He's got some info. There's something, Colleen, is there something where there's like a Poe Dameron history with that location too?
Yeah, his family was there too.
Yeah.
And in Legends, it's where they do the training for the new Jedi at first. So it's a very powerful location within the Force.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it would be really cool if Rex's intel was what brought them there.
My next one is more of like a question that's more of a statement. Did Ahsoka have to be as mysterious as Yoda when she tells Kanan to trust in her friend, as opposed to just cutting to the chase and letting Kanan know that her friend is a clone? Like, give Kanan some time to process it instead of smacking him in the face as soon as he arrives. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. I also think, I mean, my one defense of her on this, and my heart's not fully in it, I won't lie, is that if she had told them before that it was a clone, then he just wouldn't have gone. He would have stopped them from leaving and been like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
And then Hera would have talked to him and said, look, we trust Ahsoka. She's come through for us. You're going. And Kanan would have begrudgingly gone.
Yep. And speaking of going and the clones, where are Wolf and Gregor chilling? Because they're not there with Rex and their home is now gone. Do we ever find out, or are we not allowed to know?
I don't know where they are.
They just kind of disappear.
They don't want to fight yet or right now. Like they're not interested in going and helping the rebellion. So they probably dropped them off somewhere new.
I mean, hopefully Wolf is still with Gregor, because I don't think like Gregor could get anywhere by himself at this point. That guy is rough.
No.
Woo!
Poor Gregor.
Yeah.
They're his caretakers. I'm sure part of the backstory of them getting together is poor Rex and Wolf being like, what's up with this guy? It's Gregor.
I mean, I like him. I think he's funny and like sweet. Like, I'd take him over Wolf any day. Wolf was a dick.
Yep.
Wolf is grumpy.
I don't need that energy in my life. Give me a Gregor anytime, but.
Well, you know what energy we need? We need you to join us again next week as Ezra decides whether or not to be a freelancer in Rebels Season 2, Episode 5 and 6. Until then, please follow us wherever you get your podcasts and leave us those 5-star reviews. Check out our website at bohemiangeekstudies.com, where you can watch all of our episodes, enjoy Colleen's Book Corner, where she's reviewing Star Wars literature, and contact us through email and social media. And as always, keep telling other Nerdy Knights to join us, because that really does help. Remember that you can head to theforgottenentertainment.com to check out all of the offerings from the Forgotten Entertainment family, including yet another Star Wars podcast, where Colleen and Anders, along with co-host Daniel and some special guests you may recognize, are examining the films in Star Wars canon. Until next time, giant fishing poles up, and keep those episodes streaming. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.